I've been seeing a lot of bad reviews for the Mario movie, which is very surprising. This shit currently has a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes, which obviously isn't that great, but it's hard to demand all that much from a Mario Bros. Film when when its source material has been historically devoid of plot, but shit would be allowed to demand a little bit more demure competency. Oh my god. I don't get these fucking reviews. It's a goddamn video game. Like, it's just meant to be a love letter to fans of Mario. It's not supposed to be it's literally just a video game turned into a movie. That's it. It's nothing more. Mario don't have stories. Well, I mean, other than Paper Mario games. Paper Mario games have stories, which they could have probably based it off of. But it seems like just baseless reviews. Let's see. Let's see one of the reviews. Because you know what? Maybe I just need to explain to me.
So wow, I'm kind of shocked.
When you start a video like that, I already know your video is trash. You start off yelling at your screen. So wow! Your videos, I might as well just give it a dislike right there, but I'm better than that.
So wow, I'm kind of shocked at how bad this movie is. Universal knows though. Universal knows, which is why the embargo is lifting mere hours before the movie premieres. I don't think this is going to make $1 billion.
Well, I mean, the movie premieres tomorrow, but okay.
Still have a big opening weekend. I don't even know if it's going to make it to Friday. I think word of mouth on this is going to be toxic, or whatever toxic goo there is in Nintendo world that destroys stuff that it touches. So,
does she not know how fucking dedicated Nintendo fans are? The motherfuckers eat up anything. Have you seen the Pokemon fans? They got the worst port ever. The new Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. That shit runs like dog shit on the Switch, but people eat that shit up all day. Does she not realize how, like, I can tell she don't play games, because you would know right off the bat, it don't matter. There's enough kids in this world. There are enough people who have grown up with Mario that will watch this just because of the animation alone.
So let me walk you through this, right? Because I know a lot of you aren't going to believe me, but I think you're going to be seeing a lot of bad reviews drop right now. And yeah, it's unfortunately true. Now, as I've mentioned before when discussing this movie, I don't play Nintendo games, right? Like I know who the characters are. Well, like,
well, there's your problem. You don't play Nintendo games. I mean, it already. Yeah, IGN gave the movie an 8 out of 10. I mean, that tells you something right there. And IGN normally doesn't. They're normally not good at anything when they review. But like, I mean, with her just saying that right off the bat, oh, I don't play Nintendo games. Well, all right, then I know that you're not really worth taking seriously, because this really isn't for you. This movie isn't made for people who don't know who Mario is or don't really care for Mario.
But I'm certainly not a Nintendo fan. But you know, just like I say movies shouldn't require homework, this should be accessible to a non-Nintendo fan, especially if it wants to make $1 billion. But you know, I do love Illumination movies. I watch The Grinch every year. I love Illumination films. I think they're fantastic. And the trailers for this have been very bright and fun. Plus, I've been really...
She's probably the same person who watches the Minions movie and thought it was a masterpiece. And she thought it was one of the greatest films ever, with like the most heart-wrenching story. And she just cries. They're like, it's so fucking good. That's a masterpiece right there. That's who she comes off as. I can already tell it.
Well, this is supposed to be an origin story where Mario and Luigi do discover the Mushroom Kingdom for the very first time. I don't even know if it's called the Mushroom Kingdom. I had to look it up. It's not even made clear in the movie. But the movie is written for fans and fans only. Nothing is explained to the audience. Not the world, not the characters, not the circumstances, and not even really the point. Now, some of you might be like, good, I'm a fan, and I just want to get to it. I mean, there's nothing to get to. But, you know, good screenwriter, screenwriting, it's always been disrespected in Hollywood. But this is like Nintendo Easter egg the movie. The opposite of Andor. This is just...
Nintendo Easter egg the movie sounds exactly what people want. I mean, that sounds exactly what fans would want. They just want to see the world of Mario alive. That's it. They just want to see the world of Mario alive with beautiful animation.
All Easter eggs. There's like no story. Well, and what little story they do have, I found a couple of things. One was confusing. Like, why don't any of the other humans look like Mario and his family? And why is the human world super realistic, yet full of cartoon-looking characters? I was like, that's weird. The animation, though, again, is stunning. And some of the backgrounds in the human world look almost real. But again, that was so bizarre that there were cartoons running around in there. Back to the story, I would also say, it's a little disturbing, because apparently in the games, Bowser, I had to look it up, Bowser is obsessed with Princess Peach, and has been for a very long time. But in today's
oh my lord!
Bowser declared that he's going to ask Princess Peach to marry him, which apparently isn't a spoiler, because I looked it up and it happens in the games all the time, but he's like, I'm going to ask Princess Peach to marry me, and like his little sycophant sorcerer is like, what if she doesn't want to? And he's like, then I'll destroy her kingdom and kill everyone she knows. And you're like, wow, that's stalker behavior. And I would say, kind of makes this not appropriate for children, quite frankly.
What?
I would argue that most of the movie is about who's going to date Princess
What?
Peach. My jaw was on the floor. I'm like, is that really what this movie is about?
What
It's
is
really
this
outdated
tape?
I think fans and just moviegoers in general.
What is this? What is this? Oh my lord! Oh, I have never just heard so much garbage just spew out of a mouth. I still
Also, in an effort to move away from doing, speaking of disturbing, I would also classify this movie as a little offensive because instead of doing the
offensive. Super Mario movie, offensive. Fucking offensive. Oh my god. Am I even on planet Earth anymore? What the fuck?
from doing, speaking of disturbing, I would also classify this movie as a little offensive because instead of doing the Italian accents, ironically because they were worried about being offensive, instead they decided to give everyone a variation of a New York accent, which again I found kind of offensive. It's like everyone's either in Goodfellas or a Woody Allen movie, because and not just in the New York scenes, by the way. Mario and Luigi live in New York City, but you're like when you get to the Mushroom Kingdom, Donkey Kong Land is the same way, and so you're just kind of like, why would you make that choice? Like, why do you think that's somehow not offensive and the Italian thing would be? It's just crazy.
This lady is delusional. Oh my lord. I have never just heard so much shit that just makes me speechless. They dropped a new race of DLC in New York. I know, maybe, you know what? Unfortunately for Nintendo, they can't patch this movie. The channel with 945,000 subscribers, and this is the dog shit she's spewing out. Like this complaint, it sounds like she just said, hey, why isn't this movie like more of Guardians of the Galaxy? I thought this is what it was going to be, but in cartoon format. I'm not getting that. That's upsetting. This fucking sucks.
And then they're done. And I was like, I guess if you've ever built your own Mario Kart, you'd be like, oh, cool, it's just like the game. But as someone who's never built a Mario Kart, I still have not had.
You say you don't even play Nintendo games, so how, like what the fuck kind of complaint is this? It's not my fault you don't play Nintendo games. You're not supposed to just. It's supposed to make you want to go play it. You're upset because you didn't play the Mario Kart games, but guess what? That's because you didn't play the games. That's just really what it is. This is so baffling to me.
Keegan-Michael Key's voice is also unrecognizable as Toad, which is a shame. I love Keegan-Michael Key. But Toad is adorable, and he's...
His voice is unrecognizable, and that's a shame? That's the good thing! You literally said that for Jack Black earlier, that, oh, it was a great thing. Like, you couldn't even tell that was Jack Black. He did such a great job as Bowser, and I couldn't even understand. You couldn't even tell that was his voice. How are you gonna praise that earlier for Jack Black, but to say it's bad for him? Like, what? What is this? This is such a terrible review. I'm gonna just stop it here real quick. I'm gonna just stop it real quick right now. I don't give a fuck what she says. I still think Chris Pratt's going to be dog shit as Mario, but she could tell me that he's the worst fucking actor known to mankind right now in the Mario movie, and I still wouldn't believe her. I still wouldn't trust her opinion, because everything leading up to this point so far has been dog shit. Everything she has said has had no basis to justify her shit opinion, which, and it's still an opinion. I will give that. It's free to have an opinion, but it's not a good opinion. It's terrible takes all around. But if she says his acting is good, I don't believe it. She says his voice acting is trash, I still don't believe it.
Mario and Luigi's relationship just seems really forced. It's like screenwriter Matthew Fogel, who should never work again, he's done a couple of stuff for Illumination, that's about it. It's like he saw Frozen and decided to do the male version of Elsa and Anna, but none of the work to make it work. And since they insisted on putting Mario in the real world, so to speak, why do he and Luigi wear those funny outfits and gloves? I was like, you guys look ridiculous. I mean,
why the fuck do they wear their outfits, their iconic outfits? Why are they even wearing that? Man, they should be wearing jumpsuits. They need to be wearing this all yellow jumpsuits and look like they're ready to go into someone's home and start cleaning up their sewers. What the fuck kind of complaint is this, dog? How are you complaining about their outfits? How are you complaining that they're fucking brothers? I don't get these complaints. This is so weird. How do people just make this? How does she just make this entire review? It's like, yes, this is great. This is good. We are killing it. This is, I'm so confused.
It made sense. Nothing in the movie made sense, so it was hard for me to get into any of it. Speaking of Mario and Luigi, though, Charles Martinet, he had a nice cameo. He is the OG and current voice of Mario and Luigi in the games, and a lot of fans were disappointed he's not voicing them here. But even I was like, oh, that's Charles Martinet. That's awesome. And I think it was a very nice thing to do for him.
You probably only know that because you looked it up. I already know it. Like, she only knows that because she looked it up. I know she didn't know that. Gloves are for losers. Having family is cringe. You're not wrong. That's her. You know what? You could actually put that as her review, and that would be accurate.
I think twice.
So you're telling me? Let me zoom in here. Tell me Minions is fire. Sing is fire. Whatever this is, Pets, I guess. Pets 2 is fire. Ugly Dolls, The Grinch, Despicable Me, Sing, Pets 1. Whatever Despicable Me spinoff that is. More Despicable Me, Lorax. You're telling me every single one of these movies are fire, and somehow the Mario movie is the only L that they have actually made. I mean, hey, Sing could be great. I couldn't tell you, But I just by seeing some of this on here, I do not believe that her opinion holds any weight. Saying that all of these are fire and somehow Mario movie's the only stinker amongst all of these. There is no shot. I don't believe
It's
it.
the only bad movie they've ever made. But you never really feel like you're running any of the gauntlets yourself. You still look like you're watching the game screen instead of being put into
Well, of course. I if I want to be in the game and I want to play it, I just play it. I'm not watching the movie to act like I'm actually playing in the game.
the action. That's the whole benefit of making it a movie. And then why could Mario turn into a cat?
Like, what? I don't watch John Wick to act like I'm actually John Wick. I'm going to shoot and kill people. Like, I'm beating them up in there. No, I just watch it because it's entertainment. That's what this is, entertainment. I like how she says, the movie is currently rotten on Rotten Tomatoes with 51%. So yeah, it's not just me. As if that's like a justification. Bowser and stealing, wanting Mario turn into a cat is not anything new. It's one of his hey, look here, Mr. Timmy. She clearly said that there was nothing explained in the movie for her. Clearly, she had an issue because the games did not explain all the lore in the movie for her, and she didn't understand anything. She wanted her hand held like a little kid. She wanted all spoon fed to her because she didn't want to play the games, and she thought for some reason that the movie is just going to be just like the games and tell her everything and just build everything up from scratch.